Hello, this is Ofelia Madrigal, and hi Tim. I'm very happy to be here again. So today we're going to be talking about experiential family therapy. The creators of experiential family therapy at the beginning, we can share that the founders of the creators of this approach is Carl Whitaker and Virginia Stir. This was a movement that started in the 60s. And as time progressed, we can see that there were other I want to say that other two specialists in the field of family therapy that included two other factors, and that one is the other approach is kind of like they added to the experiential family therapy, they added to what it is. So we have it, the ones that were created at the beginning by Carl Whitaker with Virginia Steer. And then we have kind of like a new model. And we have Johnson who come up with emotional focus couples therapy. And with Stewart who added what it is, the internal family systems model. So if we can think of experiential family therapy, we can also think of adding these two other components, which is the emotional focus couples and therapy and internal family system models. And before we move forward, I want to share that the experiential family therapy is an approach to family therapy that addresses hidden and subconscious issues in the family through the use of activities like role playing, guided imagery, prompts, expressive art, kind of like like drawing. It's also with that comes also role playing as well, taking turns and trying. The idea is to engage the family. And those approaches were mainly created by what we know as experiential family therapy, but now with the addition of emotional family couples therapy, focused couples therapy, and internal family system models, we kind of add more components to what experiential family therapy is. Some of the characteristics that define this approach is that in this approach, they deny of impulses and suppressions of feelings. They believe that by us suppressing our feelings and emotions, in reality, this is the root of many family problems, or most of the family problems. According to this approach, they believe that dysfunctional families are locked into self-protective protection and avoidance. And this is in search of seeking security rather than satisfaction. And what we can also see when we're talking about so we can also see that EFT uses family members' expressions and emotions with a really genuine, supportive, and yet challenging environment. Members of the family, or when you're working with couples, they are challenged to challenge their environment, and there's expressions or feelings and emotions that they can experiment in the moment. So they are actually very challenged and expressing what they feel, what they think, and the emotions. And the purpose is to help eliminate this kind of like the elephant in the room, right? And I believe that in reality, the elephant in the room is those emotions that are hidden or that are suppressed and not expressed. Those emotions, many times we kind of end up being kind of dead within us, and that is very often seen to occur in families that are not flexible in roles, and that expression of primary emotions are pretty much not encouraged to be expressed within the relationship or of the family dynamics. So the idea is to engage family members in expanding the experience, open up new ways of being in family, and improve the family functions. Emotional experiential family therapy, I found it to be very unique because they don't pay so much of an emphasis on and have the family experience the problems or see the problem in a objective way, but rather focusing more in the emotions and the feelings that are not being expressed, but rather that had been suppressed. So there is different components within this type of therapy. We can see that experiential family therapy is intuitive approach and utilizes many multisensory techniques that can help unblock suppressed feelings, expand the experience of me experiencing that emotions or that feeling. So it is experience emotion, experience the feeling, but still be able to express it so it can be more productive. Recognizes and expresses emotions and the process of learning to do this. So you recognize the emotion that you're experiencing, somehow accept it instead of feeling embarrassed for feeling those feelings. Understand what are the roots of your feeling, what you're feeling, and be able to express this emotion so you're able to process and learn from it. We can also achieve intimacy in the relationship. We can expand the personal experience really quick. The crisis, now when that happens, it can also create crisis. If the family suppresses their emotions, it creates crisis and what they call it catharsis, which functions as a motivator for change. But before change can happen, the family has to first recognize what are those feelings and emotions that are displayed, what are the behaviors that are displayed based on those emotions that are expressed during crisis. So for many instances, therapists, what they do is that they create or help or encourage the couple or the family to create or to reenact the crisis within the session, so therapists can get to see what are those what are actually those emotional reactions and be able to process and work them. Therapists believe that as couples or families come to the sessions, they struggle more to share. So if they struggle to share in their natural environment, in a therapy session, they can actually be suppressing in their more emotions. So the idea is to reenact the situation. So as therapists and professionals or clinicians, we can target and understand and identify what are those emotions that are being suppressed. So the emotional focus therapy works in 2 levels in succession. First, we uncover the hurt, whatever is hurting the couple or the family, and identify what is beneath. What are those defensive mechanisms that the person is presenting? Because as we can see, there are the emotions that are expressed over the surface, but there are other things, other factors that are under the surface. So many times we see anger and withdrawal in a person, but in reality, the underlying feelings that this person is experiencing many times is fear or feeling uncertain, and many other times also means they have low self-esteem. So we are going to see about the budget that we have assigned for this week. And in this week, we have Said and Mike. Said and Mike It's a couple of two males living together. They had been in a relationship for 5 years. What Said mentioned when he comes to therapy is that he's very upset and tired of living under this situation with Mike. Said stated that Mike is making all kinds of excuses to not go out, but rather that he wants to stay in the house, complaining about some emotions or some health problems that in reality do not exist, only on his mind, based on Mike had been attending to the doctor. Doctors haven't been able to, to identify nothing being wrong with Mike. So now Said is taking that, you know, like saying, taking it personal because he believes it's something against with him. Mike feels offended or feels hurt because he doesn't understand or doesn't feel empathy for, you know, the illness or the feelings or the hurts that he experienced. And the other side, we have Mike. Mike is suppressing his feelings. He doesn't open up with Said, so he struggled to share. At the beginning of the session, they share about feeling comfortable with their sexuality and that they are no problem with that. So there is nothing to process in regards to their homosexuality. So they are comfortable with that. But the main factor here is Said being angry towards Mike and Mike feeling misunderstood or feeling that Said doesn't care about the way, you know, about his health. So we can see this miscommunication among them. Also, we can also observe that because as Said came to the office, he sat right across, you know, the therapist. He wanted to face this therapist. He wanted to make sure that he's heard and he's able to express what is the problem in their relationship. And the other side, we have Mike that he simply, as he came into the office, he just sit closer to the corner in the couch, and he kind of at the beginning kind of refuses to communicate well, and he allowed Said to express what was the problem until the moment where he disagreed with Said. That was the moment where Mike, he actually speak out about the version of what was going on. So Said's complaint is that Mike simply cannot take living. Well, he cannot take living more with Mike anymore, and it is due because he refuses to go out, and he only wants to stay at home. So we see that for what we can say, there is love in the couple, but we can also see the frustration because Mike has been suppressing some emotions. Mike share about Said being this kind of outgoing person. He doesn't want to actually stay in the house. He wants to be out with friends, go out to parties, go out to play games like basketball, and just go out and have fun. And the other side, Mike said that he doesn't really trust Said no more, and is stating that, oh, Said, so you're forgetting the fact that you had an affair with another man. So I can see that Mike refuses to go out of the house with Said because he's still angry and he's still frustrated, and maybe he haven't been able to process the affair that Said had. So in this case, I believe that this couple can potentially benefit from using emotional focused couples therapy by Johnson, and that would be the way that I will go to help this couple. You know, I will apply this kind of techniques that I offer by emotional focus couples therapy. And something that I would like to share about this kind of therapy is that I found it to be very, very exciting. And although it might seem a little bit complex, especially because who likes to share about their emotions, right? Okay, so we have here family, there is a system that is being utilized, which is, it is emotional couples therapy. It is, as the name say, it is all about emotions. One factor that they work with is attachment. What kind of attachment do we have? Because we are going to respond towards our environment, and our behavior with other people is going to be based on the attachments that we have. So definitely I will identify and encourage Said and Mike to share about their attachment and how they feel treated, or how do they feel that they are being invaded somehow, and how they actually experience attachment. I will follow what we have broadly stages or steps to guide them through the process of therapy and emotional couples therapy. I will follow the stage 1, stage 2, and 3. We have a stage 1 as being the cycle of de-escalation. And in that, the first step is that I need to make an assessment. Identify those negative interrational cycles that I can see with Said and Michael, and access the acknowledged emotions, what emotions is Said experiencing, or what emotions is Mike experiencing, so we can reframe the whole situation and the terms of attachment, how attachment, how this cycle is being influenced by attachment, to be able to reframe. And then we move to stage 2. So I'm guessing that this process of this therapy with Said and Mike would take between 3 and 6 months. And we're going to be moving them by those stages, all depend by how it moves. So we have a stage 2 with it will be changing the interactions decision. And this case is about promoting the identification with these own needs. What are those needs that are being disowned, right? And mirror with another partner, promote acceptance and partners experiencing. It is about being vulnerable, allowing me to share how I feel and the emotions that I experience, but I also need to be able to kind of step into my partner's shoes and promote acceptance. And then, well, like, we have to facilitate the expression of these needs and wants. What is it that I need, and what is it that I want from this relationship? And the third stage, which is consolidation and integration, which is the emergence of this new solution to all problems. So what are the old problems that we had? How can we get the solution and a new solution to this problem, so we can stop the negative or the toxic cycle and consolidate new positions and attachment cycles. See, if the attachment that I'm using with my partner or the couple, or my couple, is not helping, I need to be open to adapt new attachment styles that can better help the relationship to flow and live in harmony, right? So those are the process that I will follow. In addition to that, I would like to promote utilizing 2 techniques when it comes to experiential family therapy. And those techniques will be, in addition to the cycle or the stages, the 3 stages, I would like to work with family sculpting and family art therapy. Through family sculpting, it is a very interesting way to help couples be more empathetic to whatever the other person is feeling. So in this case, with family sculpting, the therapist asks the couple if they are willing to try kind of like a playful way to communicate about their feelings, especially if they struggle to share, right, among each other. First of all, they have to agree in order for us to move on. We ask them to relax, to close their eyes. And once they are in a relaxed state of mind, we are going to be asking them to see the problem, kind of like be an outsider of this problem. And in order for them to be able to play the role or to get along this kind of therapy, we will encourage them to get in touch with their feelings, and to imagine that they are a symbolic form of or something. Like you're no longer a person, now you're becoming a something. And we can give them options such as, would you like to be the David or would you like to be the Goliath? Kind of like the duality or the those opposite things, right? If they can either be the cop or the criminal, or the fire and the ice, or maybe even the water and the fire, things like that. So then we ask them to imagine what movement. Let's say I choose to be the ice, right? So I will ask, let's think about Mike. Let's think that Mike is the ice and Said is the fire. So I will encourage them. I will, because this conversation is to both, they are both listening. So I will encourage them to imagine what movement between these two forms might be as they are trying to deal with the problem between them. So I'm no longer Said, I'm no longer Mike, now I am the fire and I am the ice. So it is about them personifying these two elements. And through questions, we help them somehow melt, right? Or create an amalgam where they can understand each other and where they can see hope in the relationship and where they can actually see a solution in the problem. So the therapists need to ask this couple, once the therapy asks them to open their eyes, each partner turns directed to one each other and tells the partner what to do, how they feel. And because they are no longer feeling with their body and experiencing emotions or anger with their body, now they're experiencing from the ice mentality and the fire mentality. The other kind of therapy I will use with Mike and Said is the art family therapy. Even though there are other techniques such as family maps, roles, family life act chronology, drama, reframing, which is very popular in other approaches. Anchoring, family art therapy is one of the other therapies that I choose to work with them. I feel that they will benefit, so they are able to express more of those emotions that are holding them back. So through art therapy, it is about asking them to make a scribbles or to make a drawing of what is that perfect life they wish they can have. And then ask them to bring it together and express and see if there is any matching, or maybe stimulate a reconciliations of those feelings and emotions that they are presenting in. And instead of allowing those emotions and feelings from rejecting each other, allowing them to understand each other and come along together. Again, that was a budget for Said and Mike. And I was sharing about experiential family therapy, which I believe is very effective, and especially with those couples who struggle to share about their feelings and emotions. That's a great way to connect and break through old cycles that are not productive, but rather continue within the cycle, identify the pattern, interrupt the pattern, and create new ways to be able to express emotions rather than suppress them and come to a solution to this problem. Well, thank you. That was a great technique that I'm looking forward to practice and apply it to therapy with my clients.